Okay, in case you guys haven't done it before, I'm going to tell you guys how to install a supercapacitor in place of these Williams batteries. Okay, now this is my Stargate circuit board, and you can see it's relatively acid free. I mean, I really don't see any acid damage at all on it. And I want to keep it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this supercap and a diode. In this case, it's a 1N418 and in a 470 ohm resistor. It's just some resistor I pulled off a monitor. Anyways, by the way, with the resistor, you can go anywhere from 100 ohm to, let's say, 2,000 ohms. I mean, it really doesn't matter as long as you're not going any lower than 100 ohm. To be honest, me myself, I would probably say, you know what? Let's just for safety's sake, let's say no lower than 200 ohms. Okay. All right. So first thing I got to do is obviously this is a ground, and to prove it, I can see the negative terminal of the battery connects to ground. Okay. So I know where my ground is, and so now I need to find a positive rail somewhere. Well, if you notice, here's a chip. There's a top notch of the chip, and this pin right here on all the chips is going to be +5. So, just for giggles' sake, I got my meter and continuity test. I think this capacitor right here. Oh yeah. So there I have a nice 5 volts. I got 5 volts here too. So, okay. So this trace, you can actually see it in the camera. It goes straight to. I think it goes. You know what? Let me make damn sure. Hold on, flip this over. Okay, it goes to this side of this diode right here. Making sure. Okay. So basically, this lead from this positive terminal of the battery goes right to this side of the diode. Now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this diode in place, but honestly, I could probably take this diode out, but so what? It'll be fine. Okay, so my supercapacitor, this is going to replace the battery. Here's a negative terminal and a positive terminal. They're also labeled on these right here. Now this is a 5 volt, 1.5 farad capacitor, you get 5 volts on the rail, and you never want to drive a capacitor to its full capability. But what's going to happen is it's going to go through this diode and drop it to about 4.5 volts. So this capacitor will never charge past about 4.5 volts. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to get my positive terminal connected to my positive terminal. And here's a nice negative bus bar already ready for me. So, okay, here's negative. We're going to have negative right there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut a little turd off of that. I'm going to bend over my negative. I'm going to bend this a little bit. And I'm going to scratch a little spot on that bus bar off. Oh, I don't have any tools handy. Okay, here, I'll use this. Okay, let me tin it. Okay, just for giggles, I'm going to tin this too. Okay, that's connected. So I have negative side of the capacitor connected to the common negative on this board. Let me flip this sucker over. And I want this to connect to here. So I'm just going to kind of bend it over. Okay, now that's connected there. I'm going to throw a little solder on it. Yeah, this game was kind of bothering me. Oop, bumped the camera. This game was kind of bothering me because every time it turns on, it does the Williams factory reset thing, and it's just irritating. Okay, so that's connected. Now let me move this over a little bit. Now let me find the closest, the nicest looking positive. I think I'm going to go with this guy right here. Okay, I solder my resistor. Okay, so I have a resistor soldered here. I'm going to flip this around again, just to get a nice angle with the camera. Okay. See if I can move that a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to connect this guy to this guy. Now you see this black line? See the black line on one side? That black line needs to be pointing at the battery, or where it's going to charge, okay? So let me cut a little bit of this off. I'll cut a little bit of this off. That'll work. My soldering iron. Okay. Done. Now, if I turn this on, it will charge up the supercapacitor, and that supercapacitor will keep the high scores. You see, what happens is 5 volts comes off this rail, and normally it would go right into this sucker and start charging. The problem is when supercapacitors are discharged, like now, when you hit 5 volts to it like this, it's almost going to be a dead short for maybe a half a second because it's going to take so much energy to charge. So I have this resistor here to limit the current flow. And this diode is the only reason this diode is here is so I can what's the word? This diode is here so it will not discharge this capacitor. This way, this diode will only let current flow one way, but not the other. So current can come in when the machine is on, and when the machine is off, current cannot leave. And this will keep this charged up. You know, since I got this in my hands, I want to show you guys a trick. Now, if you ever have any RAM errors with Williams boards, which if you have a Williams machine, I bet you might have already. But normally these take 4116 memory chips. Now you can install 4164 memory chips all across the entire board. Let's see, 4164. There we go. Well, there's 2 ways to do it. 3 ways to do it actually. Number 1, if you're not that tech savvy, I believe it's Arcade Shop sells you a special plug in the RAM chips, and where the power comes into the board right here, you put Arcade Shop's plug in, or it might be Bob Roberts. You have to do some research on that. Anyways, you can plug it in here, and there's an adapter that isolates certain voltages and lets you run these more modern chips. Or if you want to get your soldering iron out, what you do is you cut a few leads and you put a few jumpers. Now there's documentation online how to do this right here. See, I cut this guy right here. See that lead? And I cut this guy right here. And then I just jump these over right here. But anyways, back to this. So now I'm going to plug it in. We're gonna let it charge up for a couple minutes. I'm gonna turn it off and back on, and let's see it not do the factory reset, Williams factory reset crap. Okay, there it is. Now keep in mind, you got to follow the instructions on screen. It may tell you to leave the door open and turn the power off and on to restore factory settings and so on. So you may have to turn off and on a few times. And also, I'm not really sure how long it takes to charge up that super cap with, like, let's say my size resistor. So let's say leave it running for about 5 minutes to make sure the super cap charges up. Okay, Kelly, can you unplug it real quick? Leave it unplugged for a little bit. Just wait. Yeah, alright, plug it back in. All systems go. And there they are. Now, this Robotron here, I'm running a CR2032, and this Stargate I'm running a Super Cap. I'm going to leave that be as it is, and this is kind of an experiment to see how long that CR2032 lasts. Now, they can last up to 10 years in the right conditions, but I think this draws more current than a CR2032 will. We'll see. I don't know. It's been in there for a good 6 months, so maybe it will last. I don't know. But from what I've read online, there's people saying that the CR2032 doesn't last very long. But whatever, if you have to buy a battery every 6 months at the minimum, that's not too bad, I guess. But anyways, that is Stargate. Now I don't have to see that stupid screen anymore. All right.